Variations on the concept of an artifact. What, indeed, is an artifact? What is our first impression when we think of the word artifact? The concept of artifact is older than perhaps artifacts themselves. When we think of artifacts, we often think of Howard Carter and his search for the tomb of King Tutankhamun, or the Leakey family seeking early hominid fossils. Therefore, we are coded into thinking that an artifact is something that is old, ancient, maybe precious. We are also coded into thinking that an artifact is a thing, more specifically, a tangible thing, a physical item, a relic. Let me tell you sometime about my 2019 pilgrimage with colleagues from my Catholic university and the massive concept of relic veneration embodied by the caves beneath St. Peter's Basilica. Do we venerate artifacts? Sometimes. We're getting circular here, so let's move on. An artifact is a thing remaining, a remnant, a thing that is left behind. For example, in my last house, when we bought it, we found artifacts strewn throughout the backyard, mostly well-used and well-beaten Hot Wheels, fragments of dog leash, remainders of poorly done remodeling work, which I had to fix. Let's dig deeper into the basics, courtesy of my undergraduate Latin. Ars, art, craft, skill, technique, as in the Ars Amatoria by Ovid. Also science, as in the science of biology, the science of language, the science of computers. Socrates would contrast this with techne, or knack. Knack. Also trick, as in the trick of shuffling a deck of 52 cards without them flying all over the room, a feat I cannot master. Latin, facere, to create, to make, to cause to be, to accomplish, to bring into existence. An artifact is a made, created, remnant thing, then, made by technique, art, ability, knack, and so on. Is paper an artifact, or is a paper an artifact? Of course it is, as a thing made by students or teachers with a physical frame, or perhaps a digital frame composed of magnetic impulses on a hard drive, or a server, or a flash drive, a pixelated thing visible on the screen. When we talk about written artifacts, some of us of a certain age think of stacks of papers or blue books or AP exams graded over a sweltering summer week. But of course, an artifact may not be tangible if we're talking about writing artifacts post, say, 1986. Why are digital written artifacts different than physical artifacts? Or are they? They have the same purpose of providing proof of the existence of something, of a writer's ability, of a writer's challenges, or the existence of a certain place and time for a particular purpose, of her proficiency, achieving placement out of a course, or of a particular grade in an AP course. Note that these artifacts are created by students but assessed by non-students, by teachers, professors, people older than the students, people allegedly smarter and more responsible than the students, just making these artifacts not unlike the ancient written artifacts left in the caves of Qumran, the Dead Sea Scrolls, writings produced by somebody to be evaluated and assessed and adored, in a few cases, by somebody at some kind of remove, if not thousands of years, then perhaps in a few weeks. So the artifact is still a created thing, a left-behind thing, a thing which is, for some reason, almost always assessed, and picked up and found and renewed and reviewed and adored and quizzed and looked at and looked at and looked at. An artifact, then, is made for or by examination, either intentionally or unintentionally, in the latter case, left behind, not intended perhaps, but in any case, still viewed, is looked at, and therefore we can say that artifacts, either intentional or unintentional, are always almost distant to be discovered, found, viewed, assisted, judged, and adored.